What's going on, everybody? It's episode 26 on my X. Been a long week. I feel like we're kicking off 2021. We're starting to get into things. Third week of January. New president this week. Big news there. First female vice president in the White House as well. So we're already kicking off 2021 in some historical ways. Obviously joined by the usual guys. Faisal, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, Wes? Justin, how y'all doing, man? I'm doing good. Like you said, there's a lot of stuff going on this week. We had you're the football guy in the group. Everyone knows that. But now we see Tom Brady, Oh, now I remember what else I wanted to talk about, and it wasn't even related to Halo. But we could talk about it. The McGregor fight as well.
Yeah.
I knew it, and it came at the perfect time. It was, I watched the McGregor fight. That was awesome. We saw Brady go to his 10th.
What did you think of the fight, dude? Like, were you shocked? Like, were you expecting that? Like, what was your?
So I didn't know what to expect. I'm not gonna front. I'm not the biggest. Like, I watched the big fights, but I'm not like the most, tactical viewer of the sport. So I watch it just for fun with some friends. But it was a good fight. I think it was in the second round he got knocked out. If I remember, yeah. But it was a good fight.
That was in the second round.
Mm-hmm. So that was a
lot
good
of
fight.
money on McGregor too, so I was not happy about it.
Oh, you did. One of my buddies actually bet against McGregor and made a good amount of money. I think he made like a grand. But yeah, we saw Tom Brady go to his 10th Super Bowl. We're gonna see him go to his 10th Super Bowl. That's crazy. And but yeah, other than that, man, good week. Justin, what about you, man?
Yeah, crazy week, man. Super busy. I was streaming all week, like I would imagine, but then the weekend hit, and I don't know, I was like at my parents'. We were having friends over there for the fights. Then we had friends over today, and then all the other craziness on Twitter with me losing a car and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, man.
Did you actually get your car stolen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I didn't know. You brought it up, so I wondered now I can ask about it. But yeah, man, you obviously, you tweeted it too, so you put it out there. But damn, man, first of all, honestly, I'm so sorry. That must be crazy and overwhelming, just because it's a big hit financially, let alone for like the sentimental reasons of all your equipment. But I mean, how you doing? What's the plan forward here?
Yeah. So yesterday was rough. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I went to go get my gear and all that stuff, and the car was just not there. I was pretty pissed, pretty angry. But today I kind of landed in a different place. I was like, you know what? What's done is done. So there's no point in dwelling on it and being upset about it all the time. I've kind of found a little bit of peace in that, just for my own mental sanity, because it'd be so easy for me to just be pissed off like nonstop. Funny update: the car was found today in LA, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And all my gear was in the trunk, but with that car, it's kind of an older Beamer, and it's been through some stuff, and like the trunk doesn't open unless you have the key, and the key is like nowhere to be found, and we don't know if the car was hot wired. So literally the car was towed all the way back to my parents' house today, and to this moment right now, we still haven't been able to open the trunk. So I still don't know if like my stuff is there or not, but at least like the cops were like on top of it. Like, they got that thing back like within 24 hours of us filing a report.
Turnaround.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. First of all, congrats. This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Was that LAPD?
It was like LAPD in conjunction with the cops out here, Riverside PD.
Shout out.
Officers
out there doing their job.
It was gnarly, man. I was listening to my wife talking to one of the officers on the phone. They were calling back and forth, and he was telling them about basically now when a car gets stolen and the report gets put in, it goes into like a database where essentially every security camera everywhere is like on watch for specific license plates. So like it was literally just found from a Walmart security camera sitting in a Walmart parking lot in LA. So pretty crazy. They put it in and then they found it just like that. So really impressive with those guys. I'm still kind of like crossing my fingers, man. I mean, I left like one jacket blazer like hanging in the back of the car, and then when he FaceTimed us today to show us the car, he opened the back and it looked like a war zone. It looked like someone had been living in there for like 2 years. Like, it was insane.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Did trash that.
So I'm just like, dude, I don't know if that stuff is going to be in the trunk. We're still trying to figure that out. I don't know if it was hot wired or if they had a key or what, but
so how long have you all recovered the car for? Like, is it back in your possession now?
It's literally been a couple hours, so it just got to my parents like less than an hour. Dude, we can't go through the back seats in that model like to get to it. Like you can't.
You don't have a spare?
No, I was living off of the spare. Literally, it's been that long. So
damn.
Yeah,
gotta have a little key that you put in your sock drawer or something. That's a life
yeah.
lesson.
But man, I do gotta take a second to just give a shout out to just the overall Halo community. Dude, the amount of love and like people reaching out saying like, hey, we want to help support any way we can. Like, let us know what we can do. It was honestly really overwhelming and really, really, really encouraging, man. It felt like every hour or so someone was calling me, texting me on Twitter, just messaging me, showing me love and stuff. So that really meant a lot. And it's really cool how in times of like grief or whatever, how folks seem to just come together, to want to lift each other up. So I really, really appreciate the community for that. Really, made me feel loved. But I want to really quick check on you, Wes. I know you're a betting man. How did your bets and stuff go for the weekend? Lots of football action, lots of stuff going on.
This is ridiculous. Like you don't already know the answer to this question. Yeah, it was a rough week. McGregor let me down, and then Aaron Rodgers let me down, and I just enjoyed the second game. So I'm actually just gonna step back, enjoy some football. Brady Mahomes Super Bowl is around the corner, and I think if you could have drawn anything up at the start of the year, if you're just an NFL fan, I think that's probably like the most ideal historical game you could put together, because you have like basically that opportunity for the passing of the torch of the greatest of all time to the new guy that appears to be even better than the greatest of all time.
He's
right?
special.
Like so it's incredible. Brady's playing in like his 10th Super Bowl or something ridiculous. I saw some statistic and it was like Brady is made the Super Bowl 10 out of 21 years. That's like 46 points so percentage. Steph Curry doesn't average that from 3. So Brady is more likely to make the Super Bowl than Steph Curry is to make a 3. And that is pretty insane, right?
So let me get this straight. No bet from Wes for the Super Bowl?
I don't have a dog in the fight, and I couldn't tell you what's going to happen in that game. Typically, I have an idea of what's going to happen. It's like the Chiefs, I think, are the best team in the world, and I'm not betting against Tom Brady. I refuse to do it. So I might just be able to.
Didn't you just bet against him with Aaron Rodgers, though?
Yeah, but that was. I didn't bet on him today. I had a future with the Green Bay Packers to win the NFC. So I've had that since before the playoffs started. I had Packers to win the NFC.
It was a loophole. I got you.
They just so happened to. They weren't supposed to play Tom Brady. Okay. Tom Brady was supposed to get knocked out earlier.
Weren't we talking about this last week and how they were going to go?
I didn't put any additional money down.
Yeah, that's yeah. Go ahead.
It's gonna be a good one. Like I think, like I said, it's just like the historical matchup that you always wish like LeBron would have been able to play against MJ or something. It's similar in a football sense of Mahomes getting to play Tom Brady for the Super Bowl. It's gonna be a special day.
Well, especially with Tom Brady at 43, like he doesn't really. I mean, like he just seems to be. He's like wiser and wiser, and he's still. I mean, he threw some picks and whatnot, but he's still playing at a very high level, which you love to see. It's not like we're seeing the Orlando Magic Michael versus Kobe. It's like, no, this is someone very much still capable of damaging you and hurting you and winning this thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we'll jump into some Halo news. We all just hang out catching up. We actually had some really exciting Halo news this week, so I'm pumped to jump into this stuff. HCS announced the next season starting mid-February, the weekend of Valentine's Day, actually. I haven't told my wife yet that the first tournament's on Valentine's Day. I'm kind of waiting for the right time, so she's not too mad about it. But we've got Halo 5 and MCC returning for the weekly shindigs, this time double elimination. This time, MCC on Sundays. First things first, I got to just throw it to Faisal right away. Are you going to jump in on some Halo 5, Faisal?
No, I'm not going to. I mean, I'll be checking out the scene like I was with the previous Halo 5 Pro series. And HCS, like you said, Justin, laid out the roadmap, I guess, of the tournaments. And same as last time, you have those weekend tournaments, and then you have 2 of the main broadcasted events, like the bigger prize pool. So just as a fan of the game and the competition, I'll follow Halo 5, but I'm going to be playing and hopefully getting back on my stream schedule with everything being announced and trying to get back into the swing of things with Halo 3. But I'll be playing a lot of Halo 3 and streaming it, so looking forward to it.
You love to see that. You love to see the Goof Troop rising back up, making themselves known.
Yeah, it's gonna be an uphill battle, but we'll get there.
And one of the things the community was fighting for a long time, even though it was never really a thing before in online, was the double elimination. I can kind of go both ways on it. Wes, I'm interested in your thoughts on the new format and the new day with the Halo 3 events being on Sunday and the double elim. Do you think it's a good play?
Absolutely. I think double elim just gives more opportunity for players to kind of place exactly where they belong in a sense, right? I think that's what it does for me personally when I view a bunch of teams. It's like you no longer have that viable complaint of, well, we got matched up with a very, very strong team early on in our bracket or earlier than we would have wanted to play them. Obviously, as a competitor, your mindset is you have to beat everybody in order to win the tournament. But let's be realistic. A lot of these players are not going to beat some of these top teams. So it gives those teams that were placing probably a little bit lower than where they probably thought they should, that second opportunity to kind of fight against the other tiered teams near them.
Have some good matchups.
Themselves more correctly.
Yeah, have some close matchups.
At least played through the bumps and bruises, I guess, because like you said, Wes, if you're, if it's single elimination, and typically for these Halo 3 tournaments, I mean, if we go off of the statistics of the last, MCC Pro Series, there's between 15 and maybe 30 teams on a good weekend.
Right.
So, if you have one of these lower seeded teams match up against Lethal and Gilkey first round and they're out every weekend, it's like, you don't even really get to enjoy that experience of the Halo 3, weekend. Whereas, players like Justin and myself, I mean, we even still sometimes our weekends have ended early or our days have ended early because of that single elimination bracket. So I think it allows teams that are kind of trying to get into the top 4 an alternate route, and that basically playing through the bumps and bruises and having a second opportunity. So I think double elim is always the play.
Plus, it's just a format that allows for more competitive Halo to be played. Right? Who's going to complain about more games, more matches, more series, more hopefully game 3s, game 5s, and with that you get more showmanship. So
I haven't looked at the super deep dive into the format, but I'm hoping they've kind of ironed out the kinks, things like doing best of 3s and losers, so that it kind of moves along still. One of the things that I was actually going to bring up off stream with you guys, which we'll have to talk about, is what are we going to do with On My X? Like, we usually record that on Sundays, but with double elimination starting at 3 in the afternoon, it might be, those things might be getting done late. We'll have to see kind of how that plays honestly, out, I'm going
to miss the Friday tournaments, low key.
Friday was nice for me.
I think for everyone, probably the more people enjoy it or would like it to be on Sunday. So for that reason, I get it. But for me personally, Friday works so well because Sundays now thinking about it, Justin, that you brought it up. If these tournaments go into late, hopefully they don't get past midnight. I don't doubt they will. I think at the latest, if they start at 3, they should be done in 4 hours. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see how those matches go. But
yeah,
I think for the the greater Halo community, I know a lot of friends that weren't able to play on Fridays because of work and whatnot. So I want to see everybody signing up. I don't want to hear no more excuses. Like, that team list better be bigger than it's ever been, or else it's like, well, what? They listen to you. So now we have a chance to show up, Halo community, and do the right thing. We also have another fun chance to show up as a Halo community. There is an awesome charity stream event coming up this week. Wes, why don't you take it away and tell the people what's going on?
Yeah, it's actually, I'm not sure who's in charge of throwing this, but I know Lady Echidna tweeted it out earlier today. It's actually a 24-hour charity stream marathon for Gamers Outreach Foundation. It starts 8 a.m. Saturday, January 30th, and runs all the way till 8 a.m. Sunday, January 31st. I think it's specifically females that will be streaming this, so it's the females of the Halo scene, which is a phenomenal thing that they're doing here. It's Join Us, Butoria, Cardinal Redbird, Oath, XX024, Echidna, and Kitchen Bound. But they're going to be streaming the entire 24 hours trying to raise money for a good cause. Let's try and support them if we can. I'll definitely tune in and support them as well. I know, whenever you see, to your point, Hunter, when people in the scene reached out to you and the unfortunate events that happened with your car. I feel like every time the Halo community needs to respond positively because someone's struggling or because someone's throwing an event for a good cause, they do so in flying colors. So let's try and continue that going, continue the positive vibes, kicking 2021 off on the right foot, especially supporting some charities that can do some good work around the world.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
Wes. Yeah, I'll definitely be in there. I know the rest of you guys will tune in and check it out. Love to see the Halo 5 scene doing that, 24-hour stream, man. I've done a couple. That's no joke. Faisal, have you ever tried to do one of these marathons or stream for a super long time like that?
I have not. I think just naturally, I have over the course of my 10 years of streaming on again, off again, there's definitely been those nights where I've streamed upwards of maybe 14 hours, somewhere in that range. But getting in the 20s, 24 hours, no, I've never done that. But I do respect it. I'm a big advocate, and of course, one-offs are they're fine, but just everything in moderation, everything in good balance, right? Obviously, for certain events and charity streams, people switch off, and that's good. But solo 24-hour stream sessions are savage. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, I've attempted 4 of them. I only successfully completed 2 of them. They're gnarly. You get to that 21 hour mark, and you're like, I'm so close, but still 3 more hours of this, and it's brutal. But I want to see you guys checking out that charity stream on Saturday. Lady Echidna and the gang, some rad content creators out there in the Halo 5 scene, putting on a great show for a great cause. With that being said, we got a super fun main topic coming up. My boy Faisal is going to go ahead and segue us into that. Go ahead.
And actually, before we hop into the main topic, I wanted to talk about the Halo 5 Pro Series a little bit, and just generally quickly, who we think is going to kind of be on top. If y'all think we're going to see any teams step it up, the Cloud9s of the world, are they going to start winning? Or we'll talk about our topic later. But Sentinels, who are they going to play? Who's going to be their fourth? Is it going to continue to be Trippy? Like it was at the end there. So is there anything that's standing out to you guys going into this new Halo 5 Pro Series? I'm excited to see one player in particular. That's Frosty. I'm excited to see him kind of, now that the wheels are rolling for everyone. Even last season, he was really good. But, we heard the chatters, the saying, we had Saiyan on the show, and the community was saying Saiyan is the best player in Halo 5.
I feel like you were a part of the chatter.
No, I think
I was. I'll say I was for sure. I definitely was part of that.
I was right there. Saying you can't deny. I wouldn't argue against someone saying either of them was the better player at the time. But in saying that, I think you see Frosty on the Twitter. You see him in the Twitch chats, kind of. Whenever people say somebody else is better, he'll kind of just laugh it off or be like, "Are you serious?" Frosty. We all know Brad. So I'm excited
confident.
he's confident. He's a confident guy. So I'm excited to see him kind of do his thing. And now that the wheels are rolling for everyone, I think he's really going to be playing out of his mind. But Justin, what do you think? What are you looking for? Any teams, any players?
Yeah, the first thing I have to ask, Wes would know, do we have confirmation that the Sentinels guys are all returning, like Royal 2, Snakebite, Frosty? I heard early on they weren't sure if they were going to continue playing. Do you know if they're going to be playing in these?
I would just assume that they are, because what else are they doing with their day-to-day basis other than playing League of Legends?
I'll say playing League with you.
I think they have to. They're getting paid from Sentinels. They need to be representing this org. So I would believe that we'll see some form of Sentinels. I don't think TJ is going to do it. If he didn't do it the first
he's going to do Halo 3 still.
I don't see him doing it. But the other 3 probably do.
Who's their fourth, you think? Ooh.
It'll really depend on who else is wanting to play, right? If Trippy's team wants to actually start playing Halo 5 together, then that's going to pull him away. It's going to really depend on how everyone else's chips fall, because as long as there's not a team that's trying to be loyal and play through this thing that's already signed to an org, then Sentinels will have their pick of the litter of anyone that's not playing with their full team, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of.
But it's who would that be though? There's not that many top players you could just plug. I mean, yeah, I know it's Sentinels, but they've had Neptune, they had Trippy.
If they were smart, it'd just be saying.
Dude, that team with Saiyan would be absolutely ridiculous, man.
Yeah, that
just thinking about that
actually
would
be insane.
My team, to answer your question, Faisal, the team I'm looking out for is Commonly's new team. It's him, Envor, Super CC, and Septify. So I know, and they've been scrimming regularly. It's interesting to see Coach Callis. Laz, analyst / coach, not just
he's been
coach.
doing it. He does a lot for the community, man. Shout out to him. I
does.
like
He's great.
his film reviews. He does it all for free.
Mhm.
If y'all didn't know, check out his Twitter.
Really
you know,
positive, really uplifting. Like great presence.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and he does a lot of cool stuff for the community. But yeah, go ahead, Justin. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
just
kinda cut
seeing
you off.
that team, the fact that they're scrimming and stuff says enough. It means they enjoy the game. They want to do better. The fact that Commonly was willing to kind of rebuild after everything with Flyers and stuff didn't quite pan out the way they wanted to last season. And for me, I've been dabbling a little bit in Halo 5, and I've matched Super CC and Envor, and they've been a duo for a while. I know that they weren't teaming for a little bit. Now they're teaming again. I've matched them enough to know that they're a problem, and it's a pain every time I have to play them. And they got that duo vibe thing going on. So I'm looking for big things out of them, but I think the top 4 at this point we kind of know is solidified. Who's going to challenge KCP? Who's going to challenge Cloud9? Who's going to challenge Sentinels?
KCP's a good one too. Are we going to see them come out and actually win one of the? Probably. I think their chances were. And again, I could be underestimating them. I feel like I have a record of doing that. But I think if they did have a chance to kind of win one of these major ones, it would have been last season because now everyone has that much more. Yeah, they did make it to the finals, but now it's all those players have that much more kind of experience back on the game. But again, I'm not going to count them out. I've seen them play amazing, and I definitely think they have what it takes to be in the finals and potentially win. But yeah, you're right, Justin. Those 4 teams are definitely still the solidified ones. But who knows? Maybe we'll see the Common Lees and the Envor squad take someone out, or I don't know. I can't really remember one of the other good teams that were hovering around that top 6 area. But there is some competition up there.
Wes, what about you? Does anything stand out? Are you looking for anything, or you think it's gonna be more of the same?
I think we'll see the same top 4. I'm not even going to entertain Super CC and Envor. I mean, I know those guys are good. They're top 8, top 6 players, but I think the gap between them and Cloud9 or Bunk 4, or I'm sorry,
KCP.
KCP.
I
mean, that's their own name.
Yeah.
So I think that gap is still going to be there probably. I'm really excited to see Boobadooboo and Fallicated kind of get back into it and potentially play to their and they need to step up. And I think that they kind of let me down throughout the last Halo 5 Pro Series. Kind of expected them to be where they were when we were playing Reach 3. H2A, they were always in the mix. They were always finding themselves in finals, winning a few of them. It's they kind of made it, in my head at least, feel like they belong there because they were there consistently over multiple titles.
And they had Saiyan last season, one of the best players in the game.
So
we were expecting them to be the contender every time,
Exactly. So I'm expecting them to finally be a contender again. And to maybe surprise some people by winning one of those things, but it won't really be a surprise. It'll be more of a surprise if they win one of these that they didn't win one the last time around.
Yeah. No, I agree.
No, definitely. I think we kind of hit all those just generic topics as we transition. Now I will transition into our fun topic for today's show. We are going to be discussing, well, the question is, right? This is the topic. Are Halo players built different? All right, now we're gonna go around the table and give our opinions on this. This is coming off the back of just today. We saw Neptune, previously on Sentinels. Before that, obviously, all the way, him in the Halo Pro League, and it's been a really good Halo Pro player for a few years now. And his first year switching over to Call of Duty, he makes his way onto the Florida Mutineers official roster. And
the Mutts?
Wait, what did I say?
We said the Mutineers.
I apologize.
It's the Mutt behind you on the floor is the reason why.
That's my dog. Mutineers, I apologize. But yeah, we see him on that roster taking, he made it to the official one of the 4 people on the roster. And today they took down FaZe, first year in the game, already taking down some of the best to play. So what do y'all think? What makes Halo players, if you say they are built different, what makes them being good at Halo translate so well to the other games? And do y'all think even that Halo players are better at other games? So starting with you, Justin, what's your take on the topic?
Starting with me, I mentioned a little bit earlier on Twitter when I saw Moses post about it. I don't know if I necessarily agree fully 100% that Halo players are built different in that to that extent. I don't think it's a blanket statement
What?
like you can say every Halo player is better at every other game.
I mean, come on, obviously.
Because we've seen there's a couple of aspects. We've seen a number of Halo players go to Call of Duty and fail miserably. I mean, not to call anybody out. Kratos went and tried to compete in Call of Duty. He
that
placed
doesn't count.
he for 2 years couldn't make it out of
Wasn't even
AM.
good at Halo.
I mean, he got second out of
man.
Worlds. You know, like
All right,
I don't want
man.
to slander him too hard, but it's like he couldn't even make it out of AM in 2 years of competing in Call of Duty. We've seen multiple people say, "Oh, I'm going to COD," but the thing is, the reason why we have like this idea, in my opinion, that Halo players are so superior is because we keep sending to these games, like to Call of Duty, we keep sending like our best of the best. Like we've literally lost like a lot of our top talent, like the best players we have. And I think across like competitive shooters and stuff in general, for the most part, a lot of those guys that are the best of the best in whatever game they're in can transition to other games and have success. I mean, with Call of Duty, Crimsix came over. Most people think Crimsix came from Halo to Reach, but he was actually in COD first, came to Reach and was getting, he got top 6 with you, Faisal, right? With you and Sneaky Beaver and stuff. Like he had relative success. Hugh came over from Call of Duty, was one of their better players and had relative success as well. And so, and generally speaking, I think when you're at the top of your game, it's more of a mentality thing and the way you practice. And if you apply yourself to other things, you're able to have that success. And so that's why I think it's like, nah, man, I think we've just lost like a lot of our best dogs, and that's why we see Halo players breaking in. Go ahead, Wes. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of factors that go into a statement like this. I don't think we're just naturally built different, or if you play Halo, you're better at other games. I think, to your point, we've lost a lot of the most talented players that have played Halo Formal. Frosty for a bit. You saw him go over and win some COD events. You see Ian, Enable.
yeah.
Sorry, Enable went over, dominated. Nate Shot was originally a Halo player, not even a pro. And
Wasn't Clayster as well?
Clayster
Yeah, they all played Halo too. They all played Halo too.
Shotzi.
I mean,
Frosty. We said Frosty?
Yeah, we said Frosty.
I think when you
Formal.
play competitive, when you play
just
Halo at a
repeating
high
everything he
level.
Wait, did he
when
say
you-
all these already?
He said all those names already, bro.
Yeah. I don't know
Faisal, where
you're
are
going.
you, dude?
I'm in my apartment, bro. I'm like delirious right now. It's hot.
I think
Let's go.
I think when you play Halo at such a high level, you learn so much about one, being a professional gamer and a teammate and FPS player. And there's so many different talents that can transition to other games that we see are very strong qualities to have. I think that like the mindset you have to have, and especially an arena shooter like Halo that's continuously challenge you to make decisions and be forced to make the right decision every time, or else your team will like suffer. And like a lot of the times in other games, you probably make far less decisions. When I think of like Call of Duty, it's like your decision making is obviously it's extremely important, but it's such a fast-paced game that sometimes it's just like you need to continue moving no matter what decision you make. Just be convicted about it. I think like with Halo players, you kind of learn rotations and spawns and how to manipulate spawns and how to play objectives and the routes that you need to go in order to be successful, as well as like the basic FPS skills as far as like reticle placement, gun skill. Time on target is something that Halo has that other games don't have necessarily, and time on target is almost like a much like more difficult like skill set to try and train yourself to do. Like everyone can put the dot on some, or not everybody, but at a high level, like players are going to be able to put the dot on someone, like on their body or on their head. In Halo, you have to continuously do that for 4 straight shots if you want a perfect kill. So like these skills that Halo players kind of train themselves in game are extremely versatile and can transition. It's the skills as well about understanding that I have to grind. I cannot cheat the grind. That very rare as anyone picked up a Halo controller and just in at the top, right? Like they understand. You learn so much about what it takes to be a professional at something. It means you have to put in like all of your effort. You have to put in time. You have to understand how to improve, how to watch theater, how to go over strategies, how to be a individual on a team, whether or not you're an IGL or not. Like those are different skill sets, but like understanding how to work with 3 other people at the highest level is something that I think translates to other games. We've seen other players try and come to Halo, like especially I remember the Gears of War guys tried to come to Halo during Halo Reach.
I remember that.
And they
Yeah, I
were
remember that as
solid,
well.
but none of them really made it past top 16, I think, maybe top 24. But like those guys were solid, but I think that Gears of War is not even an FPS.
Completely different. Yeah, it's cover based third
so
person.
it's like it's a little bit different. So like the gun skill probably wasn't there for some of those guys, but I would like to think that some Call of Duty players could transition to Halo. Like if you gave Illy time to play Halo, like 6 months, he'd probably
Could be
playing
nasty.
at a very high level.
Could be nasty.
Yeah.
My point, I guess, is that. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Faisal. My point is like, I guess. For me, it's less about the players and more about like the journey to get to the top at anything is kind of what sets you up to be able to transition, right? Like I think, like you said, with Illy and some of these other guys that are at the top of the game in Call of Duty right now, I believe they could transition as well, but it's not necessarily because of Call of Duty, but because of the work that had to go in, because of the grind. You know what I mean? You can't cheat that. Faisal, I'll let you go ahead and jump in. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I honestly do agree with a lot of what both of y'all said. I think that's a good point, Justin, that the players that did transition and have success were literally some of Halo's best players of all time, right? You see Snip3down and his success in Apex. He was just one of Halo's historic players. You see the Formal, you see Enable, Shotzzy, Frosty, literally like some amazing Halo players.
All those guys were winning tournaments.
Yeah. So to that point, and yeah, to your point as well, Justin, some of the people that were kind of lower in Halo also tried to transition and they placed lower in COD, right? So that correlation is there, so where you're saying they competed so at such a high level, they were able to win. It's a mindset thing. It's the way you practice. It's the way you challenge people because you think you're better. It's like so much goes into that kind of mindset to become a champion. So I agree with that. But at the same time, I also agree with a lot of what Wes said in regards to some of the technical stuff that Halo forces you to practice and to get good at to become a great player. Like I think Halo forces you to have good communication a lot. If you want to succeed, you see Snakebite. I think Snakebite will be super successful if we played like Call of Duty or something as well. And also like the time to kill is a lot higher in Halo. So like Wes said, it forces you to not only make a good decision, but execute and shoot your gun at a high level. Like rotations, teamwork, a lot of stuff. And Halo really is, an iconic first-person shooter in terms of competitive gaming, competitive first-person shooters. It's like, obviously you have your Counter-Strikes and some of those bigger international ones, but Halo, for me, when I think about it, I think, that's my dog for but yeah, and I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, but yeah, I think Halo really does mold the best players to have these skills like sharpened really well. But to your point, Justin, yeah, a lot of them were the cream of the crop that transitioned.
Yeah, the climb to the top of that Halo mountain specifically peak might be a little bit higher than like other games, which is why I think Halo equips its best to succeed in a lot of places. It's kind of similar to like my best comparison is like the Counter-Strike scene on PC. Everyone says like Counter-Strike pros can go to whatever game they want in Rec Shop, and there's so many pros in other games where it's like, oh, he came from Counter-Strike, oh, he came from Counter-Strike, whatever. That game just seems to have that sort of factor about it on PC, and I think Halo is very similar. But like, yeah, I don't think any old Halo player, I don't think any of your top 48 or whatever could just be like, I'm going to COD and win, right?
And it's just unfortunate too. Like when I think about it, it's like, dang it, some of our best players switched because they were in their head. It was like a better financial decision or a better thing for their career, and it's like, man. Obviously we have a lot of exciting stuff now on the horizon with the Halo Infinite. And I hope, I pray that it's going to set up Halo and be huge and bigger than ever before. But it's like, man, our good players are leaving our esport. And, I'm sick of it. Honestly, I want the good players to stick around and be excited to stick around. Obviously we're happy that Frosty, is back to Halo now. So we got one of them back, boys. We got one of them. And, so yeah, hopefully, with all that being said, Halo's future is going to be very bright. And if anything, I want us to be the esport that poaches other players, right? I want us to be the esport where you see, really, not to say that like I that's what I'm aiming for.
I know
but
what you mean. I know what you
you
mean.
know what I'm saying? That shows like if the best players in Halo are going to Call of Duty, obviously Call of Duty to them seems more lucrative and more, that's where they want to invest, and they're choosing to grind it out and take that chance when they're already on the top of this game over here, so yeah, I'm ready to have some good news finally for Halo and just start competing, start watching these players compete in Halo Infinite.
Go ahead, Wes. I can see you kind of thought.
Yeah, I think it's definitely unfortunate. It all comes down to timing and perspective on life at the time for a lot of these players. And like at one point in time, Halo was throwing the biggest tournaments in the world, and people that were Gears of War players, Call of Duty players, they were trying to transition to Halo and compete at it. Right now, it's obvious that Call of Duty's in a great spot for some opportunities for some of these guys. So it just makes sense. As far as like losing superstars, I'm a firm believer that it's very unfortunate to lose a Snipe Down, to lose a Neptune in a sense, but there's always superstars on the come up, like where you cut one head off of this snake and it grows two.
I feel like the Shotzis though, those are trends. Like
that's like that's generational. You're not getting that back.
Yeah, that's like you have your LeBrons and you're like, you have your your other good players, but the Jordans and these kinds, those are few and far between. So, but those are one-offs, and the Shotzis are not everywhere.
I mean,
even before Shotzzy, there wasn't a Shotzzy though. So it's like you kind of just always understand that you make a good game, you give opportunity to players, and players will put in the time and hard work, and then the performance will show that what the opportunity is worth, right? You give a player like Shotzzy an opportunity to go play COD for a lot of money, and he's going to put a lot of his time and a lot of his skills into it and transition that into the gameplay that you see. So I think it's all about making sure that for Halo, we're able to provide an opportunity that is worth it to someone as skillful as Shotzzy in order to put the time and the commitment in order to display the gameplay that we want to see at that highest level.
I mean, you don't end up with guns like Wes without the hard work. He's literally physical proof here of this as he's flexing on all of us.
And to a different degree, not to cut you off, Justin, but really
you're
quick,
good,
what do y'all think about like also like Ninja and Fortnite and like his like he was
Ninja's doing solid at Valorant right now.
I mean, he's in Valorant now. He rode Fortnite through for what it was worth. He built his platform off of it, and then now he's playing whatever he wants to play and living his best life.
I was saying in the sense, I was saying in the sense that in Fortnite at one point he was like one of the best players. He was never. I don't think he was ever like the best. There was always people that were better than him, but his skill was way up there. And like to Wes's point, in Valorant, his skill is pretty high too. So,
and like Baby J is pretty good at Valorant too. I know that both those guys are probably on like the top. They're both on like top 16 teams. If I understand how, kind of the placings are. I don't know if they're actually written down anywhere, but I like watch competitive Valorant all the time, and I watch Ninja all the time, like playing against other pros and stuff. And like Ninja's good. There's definitely guys that have been playing CS that have transitioned to Valorant for 10 years that are better. Like
but CS is so comparable to Valorant.
Absolutely, like those skills translate hand in hand.
Apples to apples for that.
The most impressive. Speaking of like players that are able to like transition to other games and have success, that Sinatra kid for Sentinels is he was the MVP of the Overwatch League and retired from Overwatch. And now is on Sentinels, and he's like the best player in the game in Valorant. And so, like, I don't know what kind of skill sets Overwatch takes. I played my fair share of Overwatch, and it's pretty chaotic.
Cracked, bro. It's just all hell breaking loose, bro.
To Justin's point, though, there's a really good Overwatch player, and he switches to Valorant.
He was the best in his class, and now he's the best in his class over here.
Let's do this. To wrap up the episode today. And I'm excited, now with the Pro Series starting back up for Halo 5 and for MTC, we'll have our, stuff to talk about on a weekly basis in terms of where these, the best players in the world and where they rank and all that kind of stuff going into the new year. So excited for that. But I want to do this. Just do a final, just because it's a little bit vague still. Justin, I think your standpoint is clear, but I'll still start with you, and then we'll go to Wes, and then to me. But just in a yes or no, we kind of gave our breakdowns of everything, but starting with you. So, are Halo players built different? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, Wes, are Halo players built different?
Not a yes or no answer.
You already gave your breakdown, bro.
He just said it has to be yes or no. I had to die on this hill too. Go ahead.
We're built different.
Yeah, okay. There you
go.
So I'm the swing vote, and I say Halo players are built different. It's not a doubt in my mind. I think you can break down, you could try to analyze it one way or the other, but even in other esports, I think it is kind of a little bit known. Halo players definitely have a skill set that not a lot of others have. And again, I have the bias, I'm sure, and Justin really did bring up a good point and a good argument. So I do see that perspective, but I will say yes as well. So so that's gonna do it for our top. Who's closing out today?
I'll close it out. I mean, great topic. We forgot to shout out Ogre 2. We have to shout out Ogre 2. He's obviously managing that Florida Mutineers team
as well.
He's done a great job, phenomenal job over there. Taking a franchise.
How much work he's doing over there.
We'll have to have him. We'll have him on. We'll have him on, and he'll set the record straight on that. But yeah, I mean, done an amazing thing. A franchise that most people thought was just gonna be whatever. Last year comes out, wins a bunch of tournaments with Frosty. Now they acquire Neptune, who Neptune was kind of chomping at the bit for a while. People were wondering if he was gonna break in, and he's done it. He's on that roster, and they've taken on a massive juggernaut. So shout out to Neptune. Shout out to Ogre 2. Love to see all the Halo guys succeeding. Obviously, Formal, all those dudes, nothing but love to them. They'll always be Halo family. So let's wrap up episode number 26. The question for the comments and for the Twitter is, do you guys think that Halo players are built different? Let us know yes or no, and then give us a little reason why. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, follow us on any podcast area that you're at. The boys and I will have our socials and our streams tagged in the description, so you can find us and connect with us on all that. We love y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Episode 26 is in the books. Peace out, guys. Have a good night, day, week. Peace.